this has been great. Let me start by saying that I've really appreciated the change that has occurred. Prior to this, I've got about 30 advisors that we work with, kind of responsible for growing the office, as well as help the advisors continue to grow their practices. I have my own practice that I manage as well. And prior to this, it seemed like I've always been fairly disciplined type of individual. I consider myself disciplined, but at the same time, I found that so many things were dictating what my schedule looked like during the day. And I was focusing more on just what was right in front of me instead of looking at the big picture. And so I found myself, putting out fires left and right, it seemed like a lot. And I wasn't really being as effective with my time because I was kind of dealing with what was right in front of me versus delegating or versus optimizing my schedule on a regular basis. This is, it's a great opportunity. And like I said, I considered myself a pretty disciplined person over my lifetime. Anybody who knows me would say that, yeah, pretty disciplined, but there's discipline and then there's smart discipline. And going through this exercise, I think has helped me to be a lot more smart at scheduling my day and making sure I'm disciplined and focused in on those areas that would be most effective.
Probably the root of most issues for a lot of people, which is procrastination. There's always, other things to do, other things to take time. And, I always felt like I could get to those other things, but, as the hours and days wear on, you're like, oh, I need more time. And so I was at a point where I was seeing that there was not enough time in the day to get everything that I wanted to done. And I knew that there could be, it just wasn't happening. I used to think of myself as good at time management and good at, getting things done. But as my practice has progressed and I have seen just the amount of workload increase, that is not something that's a reality at this point in time. And so one of the things that really helped me was just identifying that, hey, I need help, admitting that you need help. That's the first step. So that would be the first. And then, going through the modules, the exercises, really, solidifies that, hey, I am not doing things right. There is a better way to do things. So I think seeing that certainly has helped the perception, right? It's all about perception. Time is money, right? And I think that in retrospect and looking back at where I was and where I am and where I want to be, I think that, really one of the things that you had impressed upon me, which is, look, the time savings equates to increased production, increased revenue. And so that's the biggest thing, is the money driven side of that factor. But then also, I'm very, very passionate about balance and being able to be there for my family. I have 3 young boys and I want to be there. I don't want to miss out on a thing. And so that's probably even more valuable than any revenue or any dollars and cents, is the quality of life, the work-life balance.
I work 6 days a week, sometimes 7, when I needed to. And so I always try to work around my family rather than work around my business, right, to address my family. So business was always first. And everybody understood that at the house because that's our livelihood. But at the same time, I understand that, my son will be young only once in a lifetime. And, I might be wealthy at the end, but I might have completely escaped, all the years that we could have spent together. So that was, and the same with my wife. So, so that's when I was like, I got to do better. I can't continue to work on Saturdays like I do. I love working, so it's not a problem. But the problem is it overtook my life, and really took a toll on my family. What I wanted to get to is to laser focus on one or the other, right? So when I'm home, I'm home. I take off my phone. I don't check emails. I'm present to my family. And when I step here at the office, I'm in the office. I'm not doing anything else. the key is to stay focused, and it's always been a problem in my life as I have so many things open, and I just have a hard time focusing on one task, getting that task done, and going to the next one and to the next one, and finishing up what I've started, and so I can close the day, I can close the week, and be okay. I'm done. That's it. I'm ready for the next one. Being available like that now is fun. Start sooner than later because we have only one life.
There's a lot of tools, a lot of techniques and services that have definitely changed the game for me. One of the exercises we did created so much awareness of how I'm using my time that shifted my perception of it all right away, which was a great basis to do the next step. I think what I'm really getting better at now, because Travis is going to ask you to do things that you would not do. And so I think as a coach, that's one of my criteria. If they're going to, I suppose there are coaches who are great at getting you to do the things you should do, but you don't do, because that's a legitimate gap to close. And I think there's a certain amount of that Travis helps people with. Travis can not only help you do the things you should be doing, but he's also going to make suggestions to things that you maybe wouldn't have done without his guidance. And that's where the gold is.
What I've done is I've gone through and done my obituary, which that was intimidating at first because it's probably the biggest task we do, at least of what I've done so far. So I haven't done the protectors yet, but I've got my goals, I've got my prioritization. As a result, I was just before feeling unfulfilled and a little empty, where there was success in my business, but there was not success in other buckets of my life. Now, I feel much more clear. And it was amazing, just like how I learned about processing, it's amazing when you have one thing to focus on, how much you can get done rather than it all blending together. By putting it into one day, I was getting so much done. I could just be present at home with my family. I'm really proud that at 34, I just made this decision and made the investment to do this program so that I can be there now. Yeah, it's pretty quickly profitable. It was just never something I thought I was going to do when I started in this,
There's so many things, Travis. It's what you promised. I feel more balanced. And it's funny because I still believe that there is no such thing as balance. It's just intentionality, right? I feel more in control. I feel like I'm meeting the expectations as well as the desires and the needs of my family, of myself. I'm more aware, really more than anything else, Travis. I'm aware of how I'm spending my time and where I'm spending it, what I'm spending it for, as well as what it means. And then the other thing, Travis, I think that the biggest, what do you call it, like the spousalpreneur, that concept, I think that's been really big. It's improved my relationship with my wife. It was one of the reasons, Travis, I don't feel like we necessarily have to continue on with you. I think maybe I'm happier, Travis. So I would just encourage people to not let their fear hold them back, but to take a step of faith, invest in themselves, invest in their family, invest in their values, the things that are really most important to them. Take the jump.
Use that time more wisely and more efficiently, truthfully. Having the structure in place that could take my work hours from where they were to where they are now has been infinitely valuable. Having others in the group that are advisors is probably the most encouraging part because we all are here for the same reasons. We all have the same problems, and knowing that you're not necessarily alone. Some of the folks are a little bit ahead of you in the program and you get to see their progress and the examples of where they were and the things that helped them, take from them what they've learned and how well they've done and implement it. Sometimes you don't know where to even start. That's what the program offers, is the ability to go in, watch some content and learn each of the different steps in how you can become more efficient, set up your ideal calendar and make time for all of the things that you do want to do in your practice, then spend more time with your family or whatever it is that you want to spend more time doing. It absolutely can happen. And when you have the coaching, you'll get there in time. You just got to put the work in.